I'm sure that's part of the fun. So I want to start at the ending, if you will. And I remember watching the movie, and again, it's been 4 months, so you'll have to correct me if I get stuff wrong. But I remember seeing when we're seeing to be Diggs' character, and he has like a bulletin board, and you see a business card, and it says Elwood's name on it. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm kind of clocking in my mind who that is. And then of course at the end you realize that he's taken Elwood's identity to kind of, what the way I took it was to keep his memory alive. Okay, right? You guys are like, oh, right. So I love that. But the thing I want to ask you about is that final shot with the hand reaching down. It's a beautiful shot, and I'd love to know the significance of it from where you sit.
Yeah, that's so all of the images in the film, I like conjured over the course of the writing process. The film, is just deeply visual, and I think you guys recognize the density of the image, possibly being experiential, metaphoric, symbolic, almost at the same time, so that it has that interpretive range where you're just not allowed to be settled with it, where it kind of has that element of life, hopefully. And that image, there are probably 6 images that I came up with while we were shooting, and that was one of them. That wasn't one that was in the writing process, because over the course of making the film, you realize that many times Elwood is lying on the ground from when he is a child, the first shot, and then when he gets shot, he's lying down. It's the same frame essentially, and he turns up, and then you see Harper, and essentially, one could say, in film logic, like no one was there to pick him up. And so Turner, maybe Elwood was there as he took his identity with the complexity of their relationship, was there ultimately to have him come into himself, to bring him up out of the ground.
Oh, that's great. I think, and then also you hear Elwood's, I'm going to say Daveed Diggs' character's female partner call him Turner at the end for the first time. Is the implication there that he has finally told her, or that she's now deciding that's what she wants to call him?
Yeah, so the book has, it's a lot clearer the way in which the identity is taken, and the way in which I think in the book he eventually goes to, it's implied that he goes to the Dozier Schoolboys Club and gives sort of witness. And in the writing process, Jocelyn Barnes and I, we didn't want to make the book. We wanted to honor the Dozier Schoolboys and give the book a cinematic experience, and to sort of wrap up these things. And I'm only saying because there's so much ambiguity in the film. I don't want you to think that I assure you imagine watching this film knowing that it's intentional, but to me the ambiguity serves the way that life is always interpreted in multiple ways, and you're sort of choosing the way to make a narrative that's safe for your understanding of the world or best for your development. That's kind of what we do with our brains, right? And so we wanted to imply that, the second that Elwood is shot, the camera immediately is behind Turner. That should be a visual collapse between, that future person we saw was this person. This was the only time, if you take quite seriously the language of the film in the process of making the camera an organ, trying to iterate as best as conceptually possible consciousness through the way in which the camera is moving, through a narrow frame, and through focus. And that's the default for the camera language. What happens when you have an out-of-body experience? What happens when you go through trauma and you see yourself from afar? These things that are coping mechanisms for, the human process of making it through the world. We wanted to imply that that's what happened when Elwood was shot. And then kind of emotionally through, the cosmic imagery and the archival footage, over the course of Turner's life, he's dealing with the complexity of it all as he's mining these images, as he says, they're digging, I'm digging. And then over the course of the montage,